lacks enthusiasm and seems a little bit dull and was invading my space. Uh, doesn't seem to move off pressure readily. So what we're going to do with him is we're going to see if we can get him a little bit lighter, less brace, and some more understanding of what we want from him. So the first thing I asked him to do was back up. So I picked up my energy. I thought back. I thought, can you back? Well, the first time I did it, he didn't. But you see, he just did. But then I wanted a little more enthusiasm. So I picked up my energy. I'm thinking back. I'm coming. I don't get closer. I get bigger. And he responded quite nicely. So that's the key phrase. Don't get closer, get bigger. I'm taking this off. I'm going to stick it in my pocket. And you can, if I get close to you, you yell at me. Okay. All right. So what I think is if this goes this way, he should come forward, which he's not. If it goes this way, he should back up, which he's not. Left, right. So he should be able to follow a feel softly everywhere on his body. So the next thing I want to do is move his shoulders. So I'm going to ask him to come face the camera, back up, and step his shoulders that way. Don't fall forward. Oh, there you go. So you'll notice in the first step he fell forward. So obviously, if I'm standing on this foot, I cannot pick it up. I would have to go forward to step over first to change my weight. And that's what happened to him. So let's see if he learned anything. The reason I don't like to flex him left and right is I want this to be attached to his feet. So when I ride him, I don't want him just bending without moving his feet. So I want him to follow the feel with his feet, not necessarily just his head. So come over here, come up, stop, get back. He ran right into me. Now I'm going to ask him to take his feet over. Look at me. Think back. Now think that way. Please. There. Very good. The next part I want to move is his hindquarters. I don't want him walking forward. He's on a little hill now, so that might encourage the forward motion, but we'll just deal with it. Right? So I want him to think over. He did. Stay there. Now take your rib cage and then your hind quarters. So notice he didn't come forward, he went over. And that's what we're looking for. We don't want him torquing this leg by staying heavy on it. I want him to think, when you feel this, lift that leg. You see him take the weight off it? Because when I ride him and I lift, I want that foot under there and I can tell it where to go. If he thinks, because I did lateral flexion, when I pick this up, he could drop his weight there. Every time I touch this rein, he'll drop his weight. I want him to think, when you feel this rein, pick that foot up and make it available to me. Thank you. Now keep it available to me. Take your rib cage, hindquarters, and back that foot up. Thank you. So a lot of people struggle with the backup, especially under saddle. This is just my opinion. I like to take hindquarters away into a backup. Call it disengage to a backup, whatever you want. So to do that, we have to get his feet equally weighted. You can't be heavy one place, light another. Huh? Can you back up with your weight? Take your shoulders, yes. Take your shoulders, take your butt, drop your head, and back yourself. And that is light as a feather for a horse that doesn't really back up. So what you do is you take movement and direct it. So you're kind of getting time with his feet. Good boy. So one of the reasons we're going to do this today is that he has a lot of stiffness in his body, which does two things. It puts brace in his body when you ride. He's not very flexible. But the bad news is when a horse gets like that, he has a tendency to drop his back. So he's strung out below, which flattens his back. So if you look at him, he's a little down in the back. And so what we're trying to do is to get him to pick it up. So I'm going to lead him across, and I want you to pay attention to the feet. And I want you to see what kind of an overstride he has. When the hind foot comes up and the front foot leaves to make a space for it, does it stop here? Does it get closer to where the front foot left? That's what we're trying to accomplish. So what we want to do is, as he moves, when the front foot goes and the hind foot steps deeper, right, it lifts his back up. If you want to experiment, you could get on your hands and knees, arch your back, and try to pick up your leg to see if you could hit your belly. By contrast, you could bend over and pick up your leg, and oh my, look how close you can get to your belly, even when it's chubby like mine. So, in order to lift the back, the feet have to come together. So a horse that's muscled to be flat, several things happen. He's not as comfortable to ride as he could be. A lot of times they'll either give a little kick out or something when they go to canter from a trot because they're all strung out. So to fix that, what we want to do is get him re-muscled, because he always wants to do what his muscles are trained to do. So we're going to do a lot of bending. So what we're looking for in the bend is him to step deep. So when he steps deep, he lifts his back to make room for that foot. So if we do this enough, we can kind of re-muscle him. He's only going to do what he's comfortable doing. And if he's allowed to go flat, that's where his muscles are. That's where he'll go all the time. So what we're going to try to do is get him a little more comfortable with a lot of bending, and first create a little muscle memory, and then hopefully down the road create some remuscling. So that's our goal. I never worry about where the head is, because that's his bounce. If his body's doing the right thing, his head will. So don't even worry about where his head is. In the beginning, as we bring him through the barrows, we're going to keep a feel on the rope. We're going to be leading him. Our goal is so that he gets soft going around the barrows, and to do that and get soft, he's got to step under and forward with his hind end. So we're going to go up there and we're going to see how it goes. The horse is very stiff in both directions. Did a little groundwork to get him used to moving his feet left and right. And maybe I should put that on tape. Get back, get back, get back. So I want this attached to his feet. So I say to him, take your feet here. Take them here. Thank you. Take your feet here. Follow that feel. I'm talking to his front feet. Front feet. Yes. Front feet. Yes. And you'll see when he steps, if you saw his feet, he doesn't just step over, he steps back. And that's really important. You want to make sure he's unweighting the feet. So now you can see when he stopped, instead of being strung out, his feet were closer together, right? So I'm going to say, come up, please come up, please come up, please come up. Move your feet, yes. So a lot of people will say, well, hell, you're moving that flag in front of him. He should be backing up. This is support. This is never a director. So if I say, come here, please come here, he needs to, yes. You understand, this is the director. The director says, come here, please come here, yes. That if the only time it pushes him back is if I say we're going back, I said we're going back. So this is never the director, it's support. If he doesn't need a director, he needs a director and support. Sometimes he'll just need the director. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. I don't want to ever use this unless I have to. Take your shoulder there. Good. Take your shoulder there. Good. Come forward. Come on. That's a good one. So I didn't need support. Hopefully we'll do the barrel. Because now we have the pieces. Take your butt over there. I want you to walk around this barrel. My goal, I want you to pay attention to his feet, is for him to bend around the barrel. To do that, his inside hind has to step to the middle of his body. So let's see what it looks like first time around. I did it because I had to space the barrel, so I have done it close. Come forward. Please come forward. Come forward. Bend around this barrel, following the field. Bend around this barrel, following the field. Bend around this barrel, following the field. Bend around this barrel. One thing I notice is he's much better on his right side than his left. So as I spring him here and I take him to his right side, he's soft. And the minute I take him to his left side, he gets stiff. Which is interesting because usually they're overbent. Come on. You hope to see is that he gets softer and softer. All right, you can stop for a minute. All right. Come on. Touched him because he pulled on me. So I hold my hand like this, and if this slides like this, it means he pulled on me. I close my hand and I do something about it. So I'm going, go this way, please. I have an open hand, more or less. Come over here, follow that field. Come on, come on. All right, follow that field. Watch her. Oh, look at those hind feet. Come on. Good boy. Notice his head dropped. Good. See his head drop? Yes. Come on. dozen more times probably until he didn't pull on it. And then once he did it one time without pulling on me, yeah, good boy. So I stopped there because he himself turned. I didn't have to pull on him. Good boy. So whenever I feel softness, even in the middle of something, I reward it. When you have a horse that has this kind of brace. So good, yes. Good boy. Yes. Yeah. Good job. You're a very good boy. So now we're going to try one more time. Ready? Come on. You're very soft right now. Good boy. Come on. Good boy. Come on. So he's looking for, I stopped. Yes. That was very soft. Good. So that last barrel, he has figured out if he's soft there, I'll stop. So, come up. Come up. Come on. Come up. Ooh. So, if I were to do this every day, I would do it 3 to 5 times until it's soft, and then you can go do something else, come back, do something else over here, and then do it once. If it's soft, quit, go do something else. So always reward softness wherever you find it. Okay? Good boy. All right. All right. So we did one lap, which was horrible, and he was stiff and couldn't follow the field. We're going to try 2. Usually 3 or 4, and he starts to get the hang of it. You'll be surprised at the change. So I just want to mention that all this apparatus here is because of me. You would just have your lead regular and you switch from hand to hand. But I have a bad shoulder and short is easier for me. This is not how you would do it. You would just have a regular lead. All right, so I'm telling him, come over here, move your shoulder, move your hips, move your hips. And notice I didn't pull, I lift. Come up, come up. I want you to come around the barrel. Come on. Down, around the barrel. Take your butt over there. Come around the barrel. So I can use his whole body for this, but I prefer that he just follow the field. And so I don't have to drive him like take his butt, because what I'm trying to get is a soft flow. And he can only do that because his buddy's over here eating grass. So when you do the exercise, think about setting him up for success and making it easy for him. That's a degree of difficulty. We'll work through it, but just keep that in mind when you do your own exercise. Come over here, please come over here. Come over here. Stop your front, take your hips over here. Back up. Shoulders over. Follow the feel. Good boy. Come on. Go that way, please. So you'll notice he's eager to come this way. Good boy. But not so eager to come this way because he has to leave his buddy. Eager to come this way. Good boy. Come on, you can do it. Keep coming. Follow the feel. I'm trying to be light, but I can't. But I will. Good boy. Come over here. Put your butt over there. Come over here. Good boy. All right. Come over here. Come over here. Go over here. Good boy. So, if you notice, each time I send him that way, his head dropped and he bent. It's only because he has that degree of difficulty. So we're going to do it again. This time I want you to pay attention to his feet and see if we're getting any kind of a bend, which will be indicated by that inside hind stepping to the middle. Come on. Good boy. So he's pretty good up here. See the hind foot start to cross. Inside hind, yes. Step, nope. Come on. Watch the inside hind, yes. Good boy. Come on. Yes. So the more we do this, yeah. He's actually, believe it or not, getting stronger. Doesn't look it. Really doesn't feel it much, but he definitely is. Come on. Come on. Yeah. See? I knew you could do it. So that time you didn't pull away from it. You were stiff. Good job. So I'm going to take a break and then I'm going to do it one more time.